Hello, how are you doing? Thank you so much for being here today. I wanted to come in and talk about what's going on in the energy fields today. Um, I was thinking the other day that really what we're experiencing, because we are in this like second part, it's like our second lifetime within this lifetime, right? So I was thinking if I were to do a soul retrieval for like this particular point in time right now, right? Like if I were looking back on this from the future, like what would that program, what would that story be about? What is the message that I'm receiving and feeling that I need to clear out of my field and out of my system? Um, and it dawned on me that, I'm really struggling. I'm really feeling like I'm in a lot of confusion right now. And part of that is because if we look at if we talk about soul retrieval, right, or like energy healing or something like this, we're looking for the message. What is the message that the subconscious is replaying over and over, right? So a lot of times it's this message of, you're not welcome here, you're not wanted. We, we don't want your light here, so we're killed for it. We're killed for our message. We're killed for our presence. The way our presence makes other people feel. And so I was thinking, well, what would be the message that's coming through right now that we would want to release out? It's like real time soul retrieval in a way. And so I realized for myself, I'm coming into a lot of confusion every day and feeling like the message I keep hearing and feeling is, and I think this is probably true for many people. I know it's true for a lot of people. It's that, your presence here as a light being, it's just not going to cut it. You need to be present in the physical. You need to have your boots on the ground. You need to be making an actual physical difference, right? Which, of course, is what we want to do, and that's why we're here. And yet we know we have to work through the energies. We also know we cannot force change on another. This is part of what the setup, I would say, of refinement of the fields that's been going on for these first 6 months, right? It's understanding, let's say, the flaws that were in the field templates as an angelic being or as a light being, where we came in thinking it was our job to, let's say, overpower the darkness within people, to get them to change, to get them to see the light, to get them to believe differently, right? Like, and we took all this on, all these burdens from humanity. And we know where that got us, right? Kind of nowhere. Feeling exhausted, tired, and feeling like we're not making a difference anyway. So these first 6 months have really been about refining our understanding of who we are and how we're going to do that here. What we're experiencing now is this convergence through the field. If you can imagine all of your timelines, it's like, okay, what have you now learned going through these energy experiences, right? So this first part of your life has been about walking this process. Some of us have called it ascension, right? We haven't really been ascending. We have ascended already. We came here in our full power, in our full light, but it was finding all these places where we were feeling disconnected, right? So, but we had to learn what was really going on, right? It's like, it's been this kind of like secret investigation of like, wait, where am I being held at? Why do I not feel this? All this kind of stuff, right? So we've learned a lot walking through this human experience. And now we're taking everything we learned into our consciousness, and now we're applying this directly into our field, right? Instead of having to come back in another life and go through this whole process again of all this kind of healing and clearing and soul retrieval, we're able to apply that directly to this point right where we are right now. It's like this grand convergence within the field, this grand reawakening of who we are. And so we're really being asked to take this pause here for the next, like, I feel 4 or 5 days, to sit within everything that we have brought forward for ourselves, right? And to now say, okay, if I knew what I know now as a light being when my journey first started, moving forward, how would I apply that, right? How would I believe in myself more? How would I trust my intuition more? How would I know? Because I know now I've been working all along, even though I couldn't see it in the physical, right? So it's like understanding the inner workings of your field and now trusting that, right? Coming into your knowing and your belief of who you are and carrying forward now in that knowing. This is what mastery is, right? Through the consciousness. It's maturity as a light being now, whereas before we were kind of spinning around and in all this confusion and what's real and what's not and what's light and what's dark. And now it's like, okay, the chaos is starting to flare in the world. We see that now our presence is actually required and actually being requested, right? Without this, it's almost like this movie screen has gone up, right? Like it now, whereas before the chaos wasn't quite so apparent in the physical. I was remembering the other day, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot I said this, because I was feeling so lost. And I suddenly remembered when I was doing all these sessions and doing all this work and thinking, why am I doing all this work? Like nobody wants to do this work with me. Like it's not like people are knocking on the door to have this done. It's like I feel like I'm having to force these messages into the fields. Like nobody's taking notice. Nobody really wants to do shadow work. Like why am I even here? Why am I doing this? What am I preparing for? And I remember thinking and saying specifically, if the world is not falling apart, I have no reason to be here. My work doesn't make sense unless the world is falling apart. And I was in my car and I thought, oh my God, I'm so dumb. Like the world is kind of falling apart now, right? So it was kind of this reawakening, this realization of like, okay, I knew coming up to this, I was waiting for that. Like what? I don't have a place here. I don't understand what I'm doing here. It doesn't make sense. But through everything that has happened, right, through all the confusion and then all the stuff that's happened since the beginning of the year, it's almost like I got so caught up in the chaos that I forgot what I'm even doing here. And I forgot that I was actually planning to be in a position where I would be in a place to be able to serve and to assist, right? So it's a weird thing that's going on right now. But we're really being called to, and it is coming into this mastery now of everything we've learned, all the information we've gathered, all the things we've had to sort through in our consciousness, right? All these places we've been. And now to come into this space of stillness and to realign. Because part of the message I'm hearing, part of the program that seems to be running through the fields, right? The counter, what do they call that? Not counterintelligence, but it's like, again, like I was saying, we go in, we do this work. It's like, okay, what is the negative message that's running in the field? So part of this negative message, and it's really, again, it comes through as this kind of psychological abuse, right? Is like, well, yeah, we know as light beings we're here to anchor in new energy, to anchor in a different way of being. And yet, in some ways, we're being told, that's not enough. You need to show up in the physical. You need to be actually doing things. If you're standing on the sideline and you're not saying something, you're being complicit and you're bypassing and you're whatever, right? So, but that's in the context of very specific kind of things that are going on. But it's also being broadcast at a broader range, right? Which is making a lot of us kind of question, am I enough? Like this is the eternal curse of being a light being, right? Like, am I enough? Do I deserve to just step into my work and work from where I feel I'm supposed to be, right? There's all this kind of like rocking back and forth, trying to find replacement as all of this chaos is coming to the surface. So it's kind of an extra level and layer of confusion that's in the fields right now. And what I actually was seeing too, and I feel this could be helpful for a lot of people, is to take this weekend, this opportunity, this kind of window that we are in, to now write your mission statement, right? Because we've been working from this perspective of, okay, we know we're here as light beings, right? And we know we're here to do something, but like the stage set didn't quite come up, right? This chaos was not here, so we couldn't reflect ourselves into that and see where we would fit appropriately, right? Because that we were just waiting for this to kind of happen, knowing this was going to come at some point in some way, maybe not in the way that we had imagined, right? But it was hard to see where we would fit in, like if that projection wasn't there yet, right? So we're like, well, I don't know, like what am I even needed, wanted? Am I supposed to be here? Did I land on the wrong planet? But now that this chaos has shown up, right? It's like, oh, now we can see where we are needed, where we fit, where we can be of benefit to this, right? So to take this weekend now to say, okay, as you're being moved by the events in the world, as you're observing, as things are coming into your field for your awareness to take notice of, now take notice of what is stirring that passion within you, and to really write your mission statement, because we're being given this opportunity. This is actually like a portal and the gateway to be fully connected into the essence of who we are, right? It's like almost looking back now. Oh yeah, okay, this is who I truly am. And in relation to the distortion that we're actually seeing in the physical now, whereas before it was very energetic. We knew it was there, we knew it existed, we could see the symptoms of it in the systems, right? But it wasn't necessarily like in your face in the physical, but now it is. So to take this now and to say, okay, this is where I'm feeling moved, this is where I'm feeling passionate. Write these things down, so that as we go through the rest of the year now, these next 6 months, we're going to move in and out of energies, right? Sometimes we're going to feel very clear about what we're here to do, and sometimes not, right? As we go through these additional clearings. So to take this now and make this your primary driver, in alignment with what your heart is feeling moved by now, right? I'm here to bring the light. I'm here to show love. I'm here to stand in my truth. I'm not here to go into the mess, to take sides maybe, or to whatever it might be, right? Like you can feel very strongly now, if you stand in your energy, this is what is true and right for me. And despite any outside messages I'm hearing, any transmissions through the fields, anything that's going on in my mental ranges as far as like it should be this way or that way, or the fears about how are we going to accomplish, right? Dropping into your heart space now and just observing as a light being, as your presence is here within the physical now, what is true for you? What is calling your heart? Where do you want to go with this, right? So, because again, we are in this kind of, it's just an amazing energy, this mastery of convergence, the ability to look back now, to take what we have learned, to open up to our true tone. It's like this bridging between the worlds actually that's happening right now. So to take advantage of that, to write your story, to start writing your story, right? Building from your intention, from your space of being. I think that's all I'm going to say about that. I think it's been challenging because for so long we've not had this kind of external in-your-face chaos going on. Or let's say, I hate to keep using the word chaos, but it's the expression of the distortion, right? The actual physical expression of the energetic distortion. So visible and so palpable before. So we've kind of been not having to be in the line of fire of it, but now we are. And so it's kind of caused this ripple effect of like, whoa, trying to find your bearings again, right? But it's to come back to center, to come back to what we know is true, which is that we work through the energy first and foremost, right? It's not bypassing, it's not ignoring what's going on in the world. We know these things are going on, but we also know that we affect change most significantly through the energies, right? Pulling in the new, creating change through the new, rather than trying to dismantle the distortion that's already here. Because as you bring in the new, that is what dismantles the old, right? So it's a little, it feels backwards, right? Because we're like, well, we need to go in and fix in order to have a new way of being, right? But that's not actually how it works. It's like, nobody says, oh yeah, let me give you my old iPhone, and when you're ready, give me the new one. It's when the new one comes out, people surrender the old ones, right? So create your new version, write your mission statement of who you are, your new human, your divine human, right? And move forward with that. Okay, hope this was helpful. I wish you so much love. Have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll talk soon.